Good afternoon and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I want to share with you the 3 reasons why this A6 5-year Hobonichi techo hasn't worked for me this year. This would have been the first year in this 5-year techo, and I got through 3 months in here until I realized that it wasn't the right fit for me. And so now that we're closer to the end of the year, I thought I'd reflect upon why it hasn't worked for me, and I wanted to share that on my channel today. So if you're interested in hearing my reasons for why it hasn't worked for me, please keep watching. Thank you so much. Okay, so the first reason is quite simple actually. I find this Hobonichi techo quite heavy in comparison to the weeks, which I'm more accustomed to. Whenever I travel and I go out, I usually bring at least my memory keeping journal, and sometimes I bring my planner as well as maybe my museum techo. So these planners in combination with this one actually make things quite heavy, and this is not even including the pens and stickers that I would also bring as well. So unfortunately, I find this techo quite heavy to bring everywhere with me. So unfortunately, that was one of the reasons that it didn't work for me. Okay, so the second reason would be the issue of double journaling. Double journaling is when I basically duplicate what I'm writing in my memory keeping journal into my 5-year techo. And actually before I started my 5-year techo, I was quite aware of this issue. And in order to kind of combat that or address that issue, which I knew I would face, I decided to create a theme for my 5-year techo actually. In 2020, one of the themes for Hobonichi was Today I Am. And basically at the end of the year, they compiled a list of journal entries where they started with Today I Am, and I decided to incorporate that in my 5-year techo. So instead of writing, I guess, like what I did that day, I'm a bit more casual and, free flowing in my memory keeping. But for my 5-year techo, I decided to start with every entry with Today I Am. And that could be today I'm happy, today I'm at the park, or anything like that. And so it was quite different. So it wasn't directly copying my memory keeping journal entry with my 5-year techo. So they're slightly different. In order to, overcome that issue of double journaling, of just writing the same thing twice in a day. But unfortunately, that hasn't worked for me. I think for me, it mainly has to do with my journaling style, which is probably my third reason for why it hasn't worked for me. But even though the content is slightly different, I didn't really see myself gravitating to write it again in my 5-year techo. And this connects to also my third reason, which is it doesn't really fit my journaling style. So one of the merits of the 5-year techo is that you can see the same day over the course of the next 5 years. And I realized that for myself, that's not something I really need to do. I find myself really enjoying flipping through older Hobonichi weeks that I have, and it's just like a mini time capsule, I feel like, of my memories and my trips and my travels and my thoughts. And I really enjoy just using this as freely as I possibly can. I think there are limitations to the 5-year techo, especially in the way that I journal. And even though I have this right side here, and I could again continue on with my journaling if something happens that day or for that week, I still don't feel like I have the freedom to really go and decorate it as I choose to and tip things in, because again, I think when you start this, you have the mentality that, it will be with you for the next 5 years. And so you think, or at least for me, I felt like, oh, would future me like to have a really bulky sticker of Mount Fuji and all the things that went on there? Because honestly, I couldn't fit what I felt about my climbing of Mount Fuji on this page alone and the next page. And, for me, that was probably the most exciting or most, how would I say, accomplishment, I guess, for 2022. And so in this Hobonichi weeks, I really felt the freedom to just use as many pages as I want to talk and about it, and to paste in photos, to paste in maps and all my thoughts and feelings in here. And I was thinking that maybe, I really can't have that in here. And the Hobonichi weeks I find a little bit more flexible as well, and maybe it's because I don't, journal every day in like an A6 techo. I only have the Hobonichi weeks. I think the Hobonichi weeks allows me to really adjust how much I write when I fill in the page. So even though like on the side here, you can see I filled in quite evenly what I did, but there's many days where I just didn't do anything. But then the weekend, I know I will do a lot, so I'll just write something small for the first 5 days, and then the weekend I will expand more on that. There's just a lot more flexibility that I'm used to in the Hobonichi weeks, and unfortunately I really couldn't transfer that over into my 5-year techo. Hi, it's me editing now, and I just want to add to the last part there because it didn't quite make sense. But what I want to say is that I like kind of adjusting what I write for the week and seeing it in relation to the whole week. So even if my Monday and Tuesdays aren't very busy, I know that my week is still eventful. And I think I kind of lose that in the 5-year techo because it's a page per day, or a small section of the page per day. And, for some reason, I enjoy seeing my week in relation to other events. So what I mean to say is, like, if I have not a busy week but a busy weekend, I'll always remember that week as part of that weekend. And I think in the 5-year techo, I didn't realize until now that when you only journal 1 page per day, I kind of lose the sense, I guess, of how that week looks and where it is in comparison at a glance, I guess. So that's just me adding a little bit more in. But yeah, back to the video. Okay, so my final thoughts are that unfortunately this 5-year techo hasn't worked for me. I gave it a good 3 months try, but I haven't regretted not picking it up again. And I think that is a clear sign for myself that it just isn't the right fit for me. That and the 3 reasons that I've mentioned, I realized that, I intended this to be a memory keeping journal, but yet it doesn't match the way I like to creatively express my memory keeping journaling style, I guess. And so I just found that it wasn't the right fit for me. Prior to buying the 5-year techo for last year, I know my mindset was that, I'm really consistent in my Hobonichi weeks, and it's just a small sentence or two about how that day went, and that is something easily transferable in here. Like, it's not like a 1 page per day kind of thing. So I knew I could write something every day because I do that consistently, and yet this one just doesn't have the same feeling, and I just really feel like it doesn't fit for my journaling style. And I don't know if any of these reasons resonate with anyone out there, but I just wanted to share my thoughts on it, and just give this 5-year techo some time on my channel. And I've been giving it a lot of thought actually that I haven't before, and so unfortunately I don't know what actually I will do with this, but I will hold on to it a little bit longer since I do find it quite nostalgic when I first got it. So who knows, I'm not gonna get rid of it just yet, but I know, again, it's not something that I think I'll ever continue, and I will just stick to my current journaling style, which is the Hobonichi weeks. So thank you guys so much for listening if you made it this far, and I hope this video is interesting. So anyways, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.